Arigato, Masai-san. Konnichiwa. My name is Daljit. I'm a product manager here at Datadog. I flew here from Paris, France. This is my first time in Japan. I'm very, very excited to be here and very excited and honored to represent Datadog. Today, I'll be talking about Datadog's continuous innovation and share with you some of our latest developments. But before we do that, let's take a quick detour into the humble beginnings of Datadog. You know that feeling when your team is working hard, everyone's doing their best, and yet somehow you're still stepping on each other's toes. Olivier and Alexis, our two co-founders, felt the same thing at their previous job. They were friends, but their teams, dev and ops, just couldn't stay aligned. It wasn't really a skill issue. It was mostly about visibility. That's why Datadog was founded, to remove those barriers, to help teams see the same truth at the same moment. The funny thing is, they didn't actually want to get into monitoring, but when you're trying to bring people together, shared visibility isn't just helpful, it's everything. Now, fast forward to today, the complexity is accelerating. More software, more vendors, more dependencies, more people, more deploys, more risks. We're not just asking ourselves, is my system up? We are asking ourselves, is my business at risk? Are my users happy? Am I even compliant? Am I wasting money? Complexity used to be a technical challenge. Now, it's an organizational one. And that's exactly why Datadog exists, to help you see clearly through that complexity and act with confidence. When we started, our focus was simple. Meet you where your data lives. That's why we built hundreds of integrations and why we're still adding more every week. As a matter of fact, last week, we just crossed our 1,000 integrations, and there's no trend of slowing down. At our core, Datadog has always been about visibility. You will hear me say that a lot today. Monitoring, logging, APM, but as systems got more complex, we knew seeing wasn't enough. We had to help you do something with that insight. Detect faster, act faster, recover faster. But that's not all. To keep up with you and the speed of change that we are all feeling today, we invest heavily back into the platform. Almost 30% of our revenue goes straight into R&D, more than double what most of our peers put in. This approach allows us to do something truly meaningful, to build products right alongside you. Also, this investment means one thing: speed. Because we build right alongside you, we are shipping faster than ever. Not for the sake of speed, but because your feedback and partnership drives every improvement that we make. And don't just take it from me. See it for yourself. This year alone, we released over 360 new features and products. We don't have time to cover them all, even though I would love to. So let's talk about a few examples. Quickly before we do that, a quick note. All of that innovation only matters if it helps you operate better. For years, SREs and operators have relied on Datadog to know when something breaks. But what changed is that the people who care about reliability now span every single team. And that's where the next part of our story begins, on-call and incident response. When things do go wrong, and they always do, what matters isn't just how you respond, but how connected your response actually is. So that's why Datadog Incident Response keeps everyone aligned in one single place. You have status pages that keep stakeholders informed, whether they're internal, such as leadership, stakeholders, executives, execs, or external, whether those are your end final customers. Datadog Incident Response keeps everyone aligned at the same moment. Now, handoffs that make sure context isn't lost and notifications that bring focus, not noise. And one more thing that many people actually don't know. Datadog has been building a mobile app since the last 7 years. That means you have dashboards, monitors, synthetic tests, logs, traces, flame graphs, and so on, all in the palm of your hand, which means when you do get paged at 4 a.m. in the morning, you will have every insight you need to troubleshoot right again in the palm of your hands. That is an unprecedented amount of information and troubleshooting experience. And it only gets better from here. But Yanbing will tell you more about that. And also, one last thing, as for many of our products, Datadog On-Call is the only on-call solution that is available in a Japanese data center. Now, all of this, because reliability isn't about uptime, it's about trust. And keeping trust means maintaining trust. And reliability starts often with clean, controlled data. That's why observability pipelines give you that control. Aggregate, process, and route logs however you need. Whether it's reducing log volume, redacting sensitive data, or simplify migration, observability pipelines help you take ownership of your telemetry. They also enable you to do all of that in the premise of your own infrastructure before sending them to any destination, such as SIEM vendors, for example, Splunk, Microsoft Sentinel, and Datadog Cloud SIEM, or data lakes like Amazon Security Lake, or cloud storage, such as S3, Azure Blob Storage, or Google Cloud Storage. If you were here last year, you might remember Flex Logs. This year, we've taken it a step further. Flex Frozen extends your retention to 7 years without leaving Datadog. No more juggling archives, no more waiting days to retrieve what you need. And with Archive Search, you can query those code logs just like your live ones. Same experience, same speed. So whether you're debugging, auditing, or just curious, your history is always within reach. Then there's also log workspaces, a new way of connecting data from different sources and creating powerful queries. A common use case for this is transaction analysis. One set of logs represents the start of a payment, and the second set of logs might represent the end. You want to join the two and calculate duration, error rates, etc. Log workspaces make that extremely easy to do. Another use case is doing business impact analysis. For instance, there's an incident and you have a list of affected customers and counts of affected transactions. You might want to bring in some data from your transactional and business systems and then join it together to really see what the impact is of a certain incident. All in all, you can build sophisticated queries, connect data sets, visualize patterns, or just ask questions in natural language queries. It's already in notebooks, so whether you are looking at RUM or Matrix, you can have everything already in Datadog notebooks and explore your data. Now, as systems grow more complex, the line between reliability and security disappears. You can't be secure if you're not reliable, and you can't be reliable if you're not secure. That's why internally at Datadog, our SRE and security teams work as one. That means our approach to security is different because we do have a different perspective. Datadog already sees what's happening across your systems, across your environments, be it performance, configurations, or user behavior. That data gives us unique insight into what's actually normal and, more importantly, what is not. Our own world-class security team use those same insights to protect Datadog itself, and that knowledge feeds directly into our Cloud SIEM product. So the same defenses that keep us safe, keep you safe. But the best way to handle risk is to prevent it in the first place, earlier, before even a single line of code is actually shipped to production. That's why we are shifting left, making reliability a design choice, not a reaction. We've built tools that help developers catch issues as they test, ship, and run code. Things like static code analysis to flag vulnerabilities, threat detection built right into your CI/CD pipelines, and full visibility into build and deployment times. So if a developer pushes a change that increases risk, maybe a new dependency with a new known CVE or a misconfigured permission, they see it before it hits production. That's what shifting left really means, stopping incidents before they ever make it into your production environment. Now, every team I talk to says the same thing. Knowledge is scattered. Service change, ownership shifts, the source of truth lives in 10 different spreadsheets, if at all. That's why the internal developer platform, now GA, brings it all together. One living map of your architecture, enriched with ownership documentation, runbooks, and scorecards. So when an engineer joins an on-call rotation or a new service starts misbehaving, they don't have to ask around to find who owns it, who operates it, or where the runbook lives. It's all right there, automatically updated from your real sources and telemetry. This is how you keep reliability consistent as you scale and teams evolve. Now, speaking of scaling, one of the metrics we track closely at Datadog are deployments per day. As teams move faster, that number keeps climbing, but so does the complexity. And deploying isn't just a push to production anymore. It's managing canary releases, feature flags, experiments, and so on. All the best practices, essentially, but often still a very manual and time-consuming process. That's why we built automation into the loop. Datadog uses live telemetry to decide when to safely expand or roll back real changes in real time. Think of it as having a data scientist in your team, or maybe even within your deployment pipeline, analyzing your user impact as it happens and protecting their experience without slowing you down. Because at the end of the day, none of this really matters if your users aren't having a good experience. That's essentially the only question we want to ask ourselves. Monitoring, security, cost, but at the end of the day, does this feel good to the user? That is the ultimate measure. And that is why we built RUM without limits. So you never have to choose between scale and understanding. Capture every interaction, every tap, every single scroll, and still get meaningful insights without drowning in data. You see the real experience from every user, from every session, every single time. And finally, let's talk about cost. Because reliability doesn't mean much if it's not sustainable. Cloud cost management brings finance, engineering, and ops into one shared view. No more finger pointing, no more blind spots, just a single truth everyone can act on. And that's not just cost tracking, that's proactive, cross-functional cloud governance. Now, all of these features that I just highlighted continue to improve the experience you have, help you solve issues more quickly, and deliver value to your end customers faster than ever. But technology continues to move at a rapid pace, and there are innovations that go across all of these. Specifically, AI